Produced by Victoire. Victoire gives a special thanks to the EWF, Empire Wrestling Federation, and Mr. Jesse Hernandez, as well as SoCal Wrestling TV. Find the app on Roku. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new and improved, if that's even possible, Stylin, the podcast. I am your co-host, the Master Emir, along with my co-host, WWE, AEW superstar, ladies and gentlemen, the stylist, Rico Constantino.
Hello, everybody. Oh, welcome to the new year. How joyous and how wonderful the 2025 is going to be.
Yes,
I can't wait.
It is going to be a fantastic year, Rico. What would look good to us first and foremost starting this new year, Rico?
Of course, lay the smack down on that subscribe button, and while you're at it, hit the like and share it with your friends. Tell people about us.
Yep.
We're up and coming, and we are rising to the top.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We want you to tell your friends and family all about Stylin, the podcast. This is pro wrestling, but it's more than just pro wrestling. As those of you who have watched us in the past, we talk a various amount of topics here on the podcast, and we're going to be doing just that today. But before we roll into the podcast, fans, I want to give a public speaking engagement announcement. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody under the Victoire podcast banner, that includes Rico Constantino. That is also Paul Roma, Mario Mancini, Chris Masters, and myself. We are all available for public speaking engagement. So if you are interested, if you have a wrestling school, if you have a seminar, a business convention, whatever it may be, get in contact with us. Motivational speaking, get in contact with us. Use the email address in the description of this video, and we will begin negotiations with you. Also, you'll see at the top of your screen, Stylin the Podcast t-shirts. They are available for order now. You can use the email address in the description of the video to do that likewise, or if not, they will be available at WrestleCon 2025 in Las Vegas, Nevada. So punch your ticket and make sure you're there. Rico, now
Yes.
on to you. Where are you this week, my friend?
Oh, I'm back in Arizona.
Back in Arizona? What's new in Arizona for you this week?
Well, you know, the stylist has to have challenges.
Yeah.
And I experience challenges all the time with my styling repertoire. And I go here and I go there and I better people. I better their lives. I better their experiences. But the stylist has been unchallenged in his personal life, in my hobbies.
Oh.
I've been unchallenged. I am growing anxious now.
Okay. Yeah, because it has been some time now since you've tasted gold in the world of professional wrestling. So what is this next challenge then? What is this hobby? What are you talking about here, Rico?
I'm going to do cowboy mounted shooting. It's where you fire single action old Western guns off the back of a horse. And it's a course. There's like 60 courses. And you shoot 5 balloons, holster your weapon, draw another one, and you shoot 5 more balloons, and it's timed.
Okay.
It's judged by that on your skill alone.
Okay.
And I'm counting on my skill to be above the rest.
Yeah.
And so I'm training. I'm here training in Arizona. I go to my lesson tomorrow to get better at this sport. And it's a wonderful sport. It's up and coming and rising. It's challenging. It's everything that I need to fulfill the stylist personally.
Yeah.
Professionally, I'm fulfilled.
Yeah.
I have people calling all the time wanting my stylist tips. But there's also a side of a person that has to be fulfilled personally.
That's true.
Anybody can be filled professionally. You know, those are two different lives.
Yeah.
You know, personal and professional.
Yeah.
And I need to put that competition, that back into me. That's what makes me me. Because when I have one, I have the other. And I'm synonymous. I am together. I'm whole.
Yeah.
When I'm challenged personally, and I'm challenged professionally.
Yeah, and I don't think it's far-fetched. I mean, obviously, I identify with you, Rico. I feel the same way. I thrive on challenges. I always have. It's just a different type of personality. Everybody's different. Some people do function like that. Others function in a different way. I never forget when I was younger, I asked my dad one time, I said, when I was watching professional wrestling as a kid, I wasn't satisfied being a spectator. Never was. Never was. And I asked my dad one day, I said, I had a friend when I was very, very young, and I said, man, my friend, he purchases all the merchandise. He gets into all the figures, action figures, and all that. I said, for me, that doesn't fulfill me. I want to be the action figure. I want to be a part of it. And he told me, he said something very profound to me as a youngster. He said, son, there are people that are the spectators and there are others that actually do it, but both are equally important because without one there is not the other.
Nope.
But it's just dependent on how we function. So I identify with that. I'm sure many of our viewers also identify with that, with the a want to fulfill on a personal level as well as a professional level, goal setting. And
Yes.
you have accomplished so many, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I can't even run through the list of accolades after Rico Constantino's name. This man has done so much with the life that God has blessed him with. It is remarkable. We should all aspire to want to achieve, if only a quarter of what Rico has accomplished in his life.
Well, it's because of my motto, which is on the t-shirts.
Yep.
What the mind can conceive, the heart can achieve. We're all humans. We
Yep.
all have the same spirit. You just need to dig and find that part of you,
Mhm.
and you will know how special you actually really are. You
Mhm.
got to focus because I'm born just like everybody else. I
Mhm.
put my pants on one leg at a time, like everybody else,
Yep.
but I see it here and I put it here. And then it becomes a mission.
Yep. Yep.
Then it becomes a goal.
Yep.
And then I set little goals to get to my major goal, just
Mhm.
like I did to get into wrestling. I never wrestled. I wrestled in high school, the real wrestling. And at 38, I got into professional wrestling.
Yep.
And by 40, I was debuting on WWE. Took
Yep.
me 2 years,
Yep. It's
but I did
amazing.
it.
Yep, what the mind can conceive, the heart can achieve. And speaking of becoming all that you can be, I want to give you folks an announcement. So next week, we told you that we'd have a professional on to talk with us about HRT and TRT, testosterone
Yep.
replacement therapy, hormone replacement therapy. And next week we have that from Care Aesthetics in La Quinta, California. We will have Jillian. She is an RN and also a advanced bioidentical hormone replacement therapy specialist. So look forward to that episode next week. We'll be answering a bunch of questions. Maybe you're feeling slightly under the weather or depressed, and someone's telling you it's in your head. Well, it may just be a hormonal issue, and you can get that
Could be.
fixed. You can get that fixed in this day and age. And we're going to have many tips for you, many that are be free that you can do on your own time in your own leisure, some that will be, of course, services available at Care Aesthetics. Rico, you touched on something there because I want to dive into our topics this week because there's so much going on in the world this week.
I
It's
know.
absolutely crazy. First and foremost, our condolences and our prayers go out to all those
Oh,
families that have been displaced in Los Angeles, in and around Los Angeles. The fires are consuming that entire
oh,
place right now. Um, I always, it's so sad. Remember, it's not just humans that are affected by this. The wildlife, the animals are also
everything.
affected by this. So it's a travesty. Of course, there's a lot circulating about this, Rico, because a
Yeah.
lot of people are angry with the governor of California, as Trump aptly named him, Governor Gavin Newsom is what he says. He's actually Governor Newsom, but he calls him New Scum. So,
No, that's Trump.
yeah, yeah,
He calls it like it is.
He calls it like it is. I mean, there are a lot of people in California that are very upset with the governor over the past couple of years. It's now coming out that there is a water shortage here, which is why some of those fire trucks weren't able to put out some of the fires. And this is because there's apparently a preservation there. There's a fish that I don't know, there's a fish that they're trying to preserve or something to that nature, and they flush out billions of gallons into the Pacific Ocean that could be put through a filtration system and generate a lot more water for Californians. So I mean, this is awful. But Rico and I were talking off air, and Rico, you said something to me about these fires that I want you to delve into because you're saying about the placement of these fires. I'm going to give you the platform.
Well, I, I watch the news. I don't watch the news, but I watched it on this because it was just so apocalyptic. And that's not my word. That's the news's word.
Hmm.
They said apocalyptic.
Yeah.
I mean, these fires were all started basically at the same time in areas that were so far apart. If you know the origin of fire, it moves and keeps going until they, send in the firefighters, the airdrop, everybody who takes the front line and digs it out
Mhm.
and stops the fire from progressing.
Hmm.
Nobody's been able to do that.
No.
So, I mean, me as a common sense human being, I'm going, is there a conspiracy here?
Hmm.
What's going on? I
Hmm.
mean, you got Palisades, Ayton, Lydia.
Hmm.
They're so far apart, but they all started basically at the same time.
Yeah.
So, me as a normal human being going, is somebody setting these fires? And then Governor Newsom knocking off the water so the fire people don't have water to put the fires out. He's not calling a company, I
Hmm.
forgot the company's name, but they're willing to come in and airdrop water,
Hmm. Hmm.
And you know what? A fire doesn't need to filter water.
No.
If you're going to go for a human or a fish, I'm sorry, human race takes precedence on it. Sorry for all you eco people, but when lives and homes and families are disrupted, who's going to take care of them?
Well, you know what else is happening, Rico? The insurance companies. Now,
Oh,
there was a press release yesterday about State Farm canceling policies and what. Of course, the insurance companies are quaking at the knees right now, ladies and gentlemen, with
oh
everything that's
yeah,
happening in Los Angeles. These are multi-million-dollar homes that have been incinerated. They're gone, finished. This is
gone.
Rico. This is going to take years to rebuild. The
Oh yeah,
devastation that has happened in LA. It's a travesty. One of the things that people are citing is because, Governor Newsom wanted to be climate friendly and things like that, which again goes into the water supply system. But again, public safety, the safety of your citizens, those who
yeah.
you are appointed to watch over, trumps any of that. Every pun intended. Um, but it does.
Good one.
Yeah, it trumps that. And yeah, there's a it seems to be just reckless, Rico.
I know. I mean, a fire doesn't need filtered water to be put out. It just needs water.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry about these fish,
Mm.
but look at the humans or the people that have been displaced. It's just astronomical.
Hmm.
10,000 homes, five dead already that they've already confirmed. I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure that number is going to go up.
Yeah.
But you've got families on the news, and one gentleman that I saw personally, he said this could be replaced. And he says, but I can't replace my family. And he
Hmm.
broke into tears
Yeah.
on the news. And that is so important. Yeah, you don't put your people that you're elected to watch over, you
Mm.
don't put them second to a fish.
No, no.
You don't stop water supply. You don't hinder the people that are supposed to protect us.
Yeah.
You must supply them so they can protect us.
Yep. Well, it's
You call in other forces too
yeah,
from other
call it
states.
yeah. Instead, I think they were trying to fortify California against Trump in the takeover. I hear that there were many meetings, a lot of time spent, a lot of taxpayer money spent on trying to set up certain, I guess, blockades for some of the things that Trump wants to incorporate when he takes office on January the 20th. So, I mean, there's a lot of politicking involved, but there has been, and again, it's just an idea, it's not gospel. There has been an idea that there's been a concerted effort to kind of weed out a large population from California for years. I mean, all you have to do is look at the prices to understand that. I mean, there's no
Mm.
way, you could earn a salary of $10,000 a month in California and still be broke and living a basic lifestyle. Nothing, no thrills involved, hardly no vacations either, for that matter. So it's a very sad state of things. And I think this is the fever pitch of it. Again, pun intended, the boiling point, and maybe we'll see some change, some reform in 2025 with the leadership.
God, we need it
Yeah.
because priorities are not put as priorities.
No.
I don't think they have a line on proper priorities.
No.
You know, it's scary for me being at my age and stuff like that. What do I got to look forward to? Am I going to be discarded or, are they going to take away Social Security? You know,
Right.
what do I do? It's not like I can just go, okay, I'm going to jump back in the wrestling ring and earn a wrestler's income. You know,
Speaking of speaking of
it's scary.
Speaking of discarding, Rico, I want to bring up a subject here because you mentioned something earlier about personal life and professional life, and something that
Yes,
happened in the wrestling world this week. Again, congratulations, WWE. They put on
yes.
a tremendous first episode of Monday Night Raw, now on Netflix. It certainly had the feel of a new direction. I love the new camera angles. I love the look of that arena with the red spotlights all through it. I'm very visual, so that to me makes a lot of pro wrestling. I noticed that the storytelling was much better. The matches were longer, promos were good. I wasn't a fan of The Rock cussing. I think you can do without that. There's no need for that, especially when there are kids watching as well. But aside from that, Hulk Hogan showed up. Terry Bollea. He showed up to Los Angeles,
Yeah.
a place where I'm going to remind viewers in 1991 he was cheered through the roof when he defeated Sergeant Slaughter at WrestleMania 7 for the WWF title. And now
Yeah,
and now all these years later, 24 years later, broken body, broken back, broken hip, broken legs, he marched
everything. Multiple
everything,
surgeries.
multiple surgeries. He comes back in to a staggering chorus of boos in Los Angeles.
Oh, I couldn't
Um,
believe that.
Rico, so from a professional level, here's a man who put professional wrestling on the map, arguably. And again, everyone, I don't want to get anyone's ire here. I'm talking the character Hulk Hogan, not the man. Put wrestling on the map with Vince McMahon back in the 1980s. What do you think was going through Hogan's mind when he heard all that after all that he
Well,
did?
definitely. Yeah, everything he did for the wrestling world and Hulkamania and stuff like that was fantastic. He put us everywhere.
Mhm.
But when they booed him, but look what a professional he was. He still continued
Yeah.
with what he did, even though it wasn't being received well. But he continued and went out and made a statement. And I saw me because I know him. I've spoke to him. I saw that he reverted to just going through the lines.
Mhm. Okay, so Rico, we were talking about Hulk Hogan and what he may have been going through. He was professional. He kept right on with his lines after the crowd was booing him, which I thought was very disrespectful considering everything
Yeah.
he did in professional wrestling. But that's nothing new. These days, Rico, people are judging people very swiftly. And just because of their personal beliefs or a mistake they made in the past, they are completely obliterating their professional character. Now, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, there's always two sides to a person, especially if you're an entertainer or an actor, a musician, or anything. Somebody's personal life should not affect their professional life because they're a professional. Okay. I'll bring up Hulk. Look what he did for the industry.
Mhm,
He just magnified it
mhm,
because of his charisma and everything. And even Vince McMahon. Yes, I mean, I don't approve of his personal life, but his professional life, he gave us,
God
I'm
bless you,
sorry,
Rico.
thank you, but he gave us WWE as we know it now, and it's now catapulting to another level.
Hmm.
But none of this would have happened if Vince didn't lay the groundwork.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, like I said, his professional career, I'm okay with. His
Hmm.
personal life, I'm
Hmm.
not okay with.
Yeah.
And that could even go to the president-elect.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't agree with the way he conducted himself personally,
Hmm.
but professionally, so far, I think he has good ideas, and I think he's going to move the country forward
Hmm.
right now. But who
But,
knows? We don't
but,
know his plan yet.
well, I think we're starting to see shadows or foreshadows of that plan, Rico.
Well,
So,
I don't watch the news
okay.
because, but if you've watched it, enlighten me.
Yes, and I'm sure many of our viewers have also watched that. So shifting gears now away from Hulk, but we will come back to Hulk in a moment. So Donald Trump is now making proclamations such as he wants to own Canada, he wants to own Greenland, and his right-hand man, Elon Musk, is now trying to get involved in British politics, German politics. It seems to me, Rico, and I don't, I mean, again, it's just an observation. It's not fact. It's not true. It's not gospel. But it seems to me that a a term that was used in professional wrestling that was very popular in the 90s seems to be manifesting into real life now. And it's plain and simply three letters. NWO.
New
This is
World Order.
yes, this is what I'm starting to think that because I've never heard anybody, a president-elect, anybody come out and say they're going to take over Canada, they're going to take over Greenland, the Panama Canal, they want that back. I mean, so many bold proclamations, but proclamations that will have ramifications. Um, and it's a move like Rico, you and I discussed, like a chess game or what was that other game? Battleships. When you're trying to take
Stratego.
with
Stratego.
Stratego. When you're
Yeah.
trying to take all the players and all the countries and what have you. Rico, do I sound far-fetched or could this
Well, no,
be?
if you start making proclamations like that, why would you take over Greenland? You know, uh, Unless there's minerals or resources, but you don't take over. That's a kind of a real harsh word, take over.
Hmm.
You know, be in line with
Hmm.
or friends with, I can understand, but take over? What are you
Yep.
going to take over Canada? I
Well,
mean, I, that's a harsh word. Take over means like you're going to be a dictator.
I mean, we can only speculate. I don't. Um, we're just going again, fans. I just want to make sure that you understand. We're not saying anything that isn't true. We're not making. We're not fabricating. We're not exaggerating. We're just reporting the facts. These are things that have been said in the media. So I don't know. I mean, with Canada, he's talking about, Canada has a lot of resources, a lot of oil, things like that that
Yeah.
could do well in the United States. It would mean that half of this entire continent would be United States. It would absorb all of Canada as the 51st state of the United States, and then up over Greenland. Of course, if we go in the other direction, right there at the tip of Alaska is Russia.
Russia. I mean, what are you trying to do? Now you're going to make them upset. You're now getting closer
Mm-hmm.
to Russia, and we don't have the best relationship right now.
Mm-mm.
You know, wow.
Yeah.
If that happens, we're living in the end times, basically, biblically.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, uh, the news people who are probably not Christians, are calling the fires in LA apocalyptic.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another A word in the Bible. It's called Armageddon.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to take over the world, that's New World Order
Mm-hmm.
that comes into money,
Mm-hmm.
one amount of money, and they start branding your skin,
Yeah.
which it
Yeah.
says in the Bible,
Yeah.
the mark of the devil.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
You know, even Paul said back in his day,
Mhm.
he thought Armageddon and the devil were coming in his time.
Yeah.
But we've way past his time, and God Almighty only knows the time.
Yeah.
But it's with what you just told me, it looks like we're in for 7 years of trials and tribulation,
I think,
as we believe.
yeah, yeah, as believers in Christ, Rico and I are both believers, born again. It does seem eerily reminiscent to Revelation. We are at that point in history, only at this time in history could those things take place, Rico. Because in the past, there was no internet, there were no phones, there were no airplanes. So
No,
we are at that time. And I believe also in the Bible, it talked about that the gospel must go to all the four corners of the earth before the end comes. Well, no other time is able to do that apart from now with the internet. Now it's gone.
right.
Now it's gone everywhere, which leads me to believe this as well. And I was going to say, encourage anybody to pick up any physical print. Much like the WWE, let's again go back to pro wrestling. A lot of people are irritated in the United States because Netflix has not got the WWE library. You can't find the old pay-per-views anymore. They're gone. There's no WWE network. DVDs are obsolete. VHSs, they're long obsolete. Where do all these libraries go? The same can be said for books, because if you don't have a physical copy of something, you could be downloading the latest edition of the Bible online, which could be completely different from the actual printed version that's been used for the past 2,000 years. So,
Well, don't
very,
forget, even the King James version was translated
yep,
from old scrolls and
yep,
stuff like that. And
yep,
who says they got it right?
right,
They didn't have internet, they didn't have resources. They went on what they knew at the time.
yep,
So even the King James, which was the first translated of the Bible, that could maybe have flaws. I don't know. Did they
yep,
translate it correct?
yep,
And now with the internet and computers, I mean, they could go in there and switch verses and make people believe whatever they want to believe. And that's,
yep,
far fetched, but that's a conspiracy theory.
yep.
And I didn't say this earlier, but with the fires,
Mhm.
how do those fires start in so many distant areas all at the basically the same time?
It is
So now that
suspicious.
takes me going, is this a conspiracy theory? Are
Hmm.
they purposely lighting these fires and torturing and ruining American family lives on
Hmm.
purpose? My gosh, unless I mean, I could see if a comet came or something and ambers fell or started a fire here, started a fire there, but I don't think from Palisades to Aton or Lydia that the ambers could go that far in the air. I
Yeah.
mean, if somebody can prove it to me, fine. They went in
Oh,
the atmosphere and
yeah.
came down as a burning ember.
Yeah.
I,
I mean, Altadena is a long way from the Pacific Palisades, a very long.
yeah, I
Um,
mean,
yeah.
and they
So,
looked like they're strategically planted. So
well,
everybody had to be spread. All the fire rescue, everybody had to be spread like peanut butter on bread.
yeah.
One went here, one went there, and they only had, from what I heard, 7,000 firefighters. Well,
Well,
you can't take 7,000 people and
well,
contain a fire, especially when the governor cuts the water supply.
right, right. Well, what happened was years ago, I listened to a news broadcast this morning, ladies and gentlemen, from one of the reputable news sources. And so what happened is Los Angeles cut a bunch of its firefighters during, and I'm not going to mention the time, but everybody knows during that time when everything stopped. We can't say the word here. Because those firefighters, many of them refused to take a certain thing, which we can't mention again here, and they were
Right.
fired. They were released from their jobs. So since then, now with the economy going down the tubes, they have not been able to rehire enough firefighters. So not only do they not have water, they don't even have enough firefighters to fight in the first place. What was very sad, I happened to watch, and I'm not a fan, but I happened to watch CNN. I saw a snippet of Anderson Cooper yesterday, and he was in a neighborhood. I believe it was in Pasadena or Altadena. And he's just watching. He's just walking down. Literally, blocks are on fire. Houses are burning down. Cars are blowing up. And there are no firefighters there fighting this. He's just watching it burn and fires catching one house to the next. Um, and you know, Rico, that the insurance companies are not going to pay out for all of these homes. They're not going to do.
Oh my God, they don't have enough money.
No, they don't have enough
They
money.
don't. They're going to go upside down. They're going to go bankrupt, and they're going
Yep.
to probably deny claims,
Hmm.
and they're going to go to the small print. And a lot of these families are going to be, can't say the word, uh, the H word, but
Hmm.
they're the new political correct term is unhoused.
Yes, yes.
Unhoused. You can't say the H word.
Yeah, I
I
happen to
mean,
I happen to see that in the new Netflix comedy special
yep, that's where I
with
got it.
with Fluffy.
Fluffy.
Yep. But yeah, it's very strange. Yeah, he commented on that. Great show, by the way. Again, not for the younger viewers. There is some profanity in there. Again, not a fan of that, but it was there. But nonetheless, the stories that he told and all that were quite funny. So yeah,
Actually, to me, it was more like a documentary instead of a comedy special.
yeah, yeah,
To me, because I was like, really?
yeah.
Because from Las Vegas to where I am in Arizona, two different places, it's big city there and I'm small town here, none of that's going around.
Hmm.
So I have to catch it on the news or via you or uh, blogs on my phone.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how I catch stuff because I don't trust the news
No.
on what they say. But with something like this, the fires, they got to report true because
Yeah.
there's video backing it up.
Well, we do know it's true because, of course, one of our other teammates here at Victoire, Chris, the Masterpiece Masters. So actually, this week we don't have an episode of Master Lock. Chris is embroiled in it. He's right there in the center of things in Los Angeles. So he's texted me this morning. Things are hectic. They're chaotic. People are frantic. It's not a good time. They're on the edge of their seats. Are they going to be evacuated? Aren't they? One thing I did want to share with the viewers, and I wanted to share with you, Rico, because I got an inside source because we do work in professional wrestling. I know some of our audience members have questioned, at least me. Well, I do actually work in the world of professional wrestling. So one of our sources, Rico, I'm not going to name names, but he talked about the Hulk Hogan situation with me on the phone. So as the story goes,
Hmm.
Hogan got heat before he even entered the Inuit Dome for Raw. He arrived in a MAGA Powers t-shirt with his name and Donald Trump on it. And that's how he arrived, and that's how he wanted to come out. He wanted to come
Hmm.
out wearing that shirt. The Netflix executives, according to somebody I spoke with, said that they came over to Hulk and said, "You can't come out wearing that T-shirt." He said, "Do you know who I am? I'm going to wear it." Triple H came over and intervened and said, "Hulk, you can't wear that shirt because otherwise they're not going to let you come out." So this is how the story went. So there was some heat going in. I think the reason he was booed was probably because it was California, it was Los Angeles. There were a lot of Democrats here in LA that were supporting Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. So I think that would probably explain the chorus of boos that Hogan received. But then again,
Probably.
but then again, I go back to 1991. When your hero is taking on the Iraqi sympathizer, Sergeant Slaughter, everyone was behind him. So again,
Yeah.
fickle.
Well, like I said, that's Hogan has two lives because of his craft
Yeah,
or the way he makes a living. He's got
yeah,
his personal life and he's got his professional life,
yeah.
and they're two different things. People
Mhm.
cheered him because of his professional life,
Yeah,
not because of Terry Bollea.
yeah,
They cheered Hulk Hogan, and
yeah,
that's the character they believed in.
yeah,
They're crossing the lines, they're blurring the lines. It's going
mhm,
like this,
yeah,
which, like I said, with anybody, they've got two sides of their lives,
yeah,
professional and personal.
yeah,
And don't cross the two because they're not crossable, basically.
yep,
You might not approve, but this person, look what he did. And like
yep.
I said before, look what Vince
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to end the video here this week because we have technical difficulties. The internet issues are staggering. It could be because of the fires. We don't know. So until next week, everybody, what the mind can conceive, the heart can achieve. Make sure you lay the smack down on that subscribe button. Hit the likes, share with your friends and family. Stylin' the podcast will return in its entirety next week.